cares? All right, here's the thing for today. I'm going to tell you some stories about some police officers and the way things are. So I just want you to remember that police officers are just like us. Some of them are great people. Great people. They know what they're doing. They're kind. They're considerate. They're diligent at their jobs. They're great people. They're the kind of people you want to have over at your house for picnics. As long as don't do that, because then you'd get in trouble. Then there are some who, and this is a minority of them, who are just dicks, jerks, assholes, racist pigs, should not be allowed near humans. But I want you to think about this for a second. If you look around at your workforce, I'll bet you've got some jackasses working with you. They're not all of them, but they're the ones that usually end up getting most of the attention, aren't they? They're the ones that everybody talks about at the water cooler. So I just want you to keep that in mind. The police officers are just like us. And, but then I also wanted to tell you, I have lived in Racine for more than 25 years, and which means that I have lived in Racine longer than I have lived anywhere else. And I have only had 2 bad experiences with police officers, neither of which am I going to describe because of this. But I wanted to tell you about the good things that have happened. First of all, I am sick and tired of the fireworks. Tired of them going off. I'm tired of having my dog sitting on my chest. He was sitting right here. Because he's terrified. 4th of July is over. I don't call the police during the 4th of July, but I called them this past weekend because it was insane. They started to go off at 9:30 on a Friday night. Now I realize that most people are not thinking about bed at 9:30 on a Friday night, but I get up at 5, people. I'm a little tired by 9:30, by the time 9:30 rolls around. But even then, I just wanted to quietly watch TV, and you can't quietly watch TV when you have a dog sitting on your chest. So I called the police department. I'm telling you, within 15 minutes, it was quiet in my neighborhood, and I didn't hear a firework the whole rest of the weekend. So I don't know what they did, because the dispatcher said, well, they can come and, talk to you. And I'm like, no, I'll sign the complaint, but I don't want my neighbors to know I complained. Especially since these are not the neighbors in my general vicinity, the people I like. Anyway, so that was one good thing. Quite a few years ago, Cheryl used to work a swing shift, which meant that she left at 5:30 and didn't come home until 3 o'clock in the morning. She did this for 6 years. That means I came home from work, ate dinner. I was still in school then, so I would do homework. And things were good. One night, but I used to not sleep with a top on. One night, I wake up to Skywalker barking, pounding on my back door, and the phone in the living room's ringing. So I get up, I go answer the phone. Sorry. And it's this dispatcher. Yes, this is the Racine Police Department. Oh my God, I'm so glad you called. You have got to get here. There's somebody pounding on my back door. Yes, ma'am. It's the officer. What officer? I didn't call an officer. It's the officer. He'd like to have a word with you, please. Well, it turns out that when I came home from work, I left the garage door open, and there had been some garage break-ins in the neighborhood at that time. And the officer noticed that there was a car missing from the garage. And so he wanted to make sure that it was supposed to be missing. Diligence. Paying attention to the neighborhood. Guy knew our neighborhood, so he knew that our garage door was not open in the middle of the night. And he wanted to check. I, for one, thinks that's a wonderful thing. See, so there's good officers. Let me tell you this last story. So I come home from work, and I get out of the car, and as I'm getting out of the car, here comes 2 police officers running towards me. Well, that can't be good. And so I'm like, whoa, what's going on, officers? I prove that I live here. It turns out that the alarm in the house was going off. And according to the alarm company, because they can't get the sensor in our hallway and the sensor in our garage straight, and it's been like this, and they suck. And when my contract's up, I'm going to another alarm system. So if you're looking, if you want to sell an alarm system, I'm going to be looking, but I think I still have another year on my contract. Anyway, so after I prove that I live there, they start going around the house and the garage, and they start looking to make sure that everything's okay and that nobody had actually tried to break into the garage. But this officer, who was very nicely built, he had to have been at least 6'2", very tall, big broad shoulders, you know, blonde hair, looked like he walked out of a GQ magazine. You know, he actually looked like a movie police officer. He was that good looking. And he came to my house, and you know, he's wedged himself in between the garage and the fence. And when he came out of that, and he's walking back, he goes, well, it looks like everything's okay, you know, and he's gonna leave. And as he turns his back to me to walk back to his squad car, I notice he's got red from the fence all over the back of his jacket. So without thinking, I walk up to him, because I am a Nana, and I go, I'm hitting this officer on his back trying to get the, you know, the dust off. And it's not coming off. And he stops and he looks at me and he goes, what are you doing? And I said, your jacket's all dirty. You got behind that fence and now your jacket's all dirty. I feel so bad. And he just chuckled, and I said, I'm trying to get it off. And he goes, don't worry about it, ma'am. It's fine. The only thing he did wrong is he called me ma'am. Do I look like a ma'am? I'm not a ma'am. Of course, I'm not a man, so I'm glad he didn't call me sir. So, anyway, those are good experiences. I had a good experience with a Milwaukee motorcycle cop a few years ago, quite a few years ago. I had a good experience not that long ago, last August, in fact. Danny and Alex can tell you about this, with a Mount Pleasant police officer. There are good guys out there. And I shouldn't say guys, they're good women police officers too. But they have a rough job. Sometimes it's rougher than others. And some of them are going to make mistakes. But they're not all assholes. And that was my point today. They're not all assholes. So just try to keep that in mind, commuters. And have a great day. Have you hugged your police officer today?